time, the Iranians weren't the right people we were killing.
Well, who were the right people we were killing? Hezbollah and
I don't know. Whoever Lindsey Graham said were the right people.
Well, okay.
We're killing the right people.
Okay, well, that puts it a little bit better perspective. But did he say that today?
No. This was a clip that was pre-Iran, actually. I found that clip.
All right.
It's been circulating around before the war.
Right. But you got to be careful about talking in absolutes in that manner, because sometimes, unfortunately, we are killing the right people.
No, absolutely. And look, I think that, again, I mean, and also there were people today lamenting on the news that, look, Lindsey Graham was a huge supporter of Ukraine, and standing against Russia, and Blumenthal was the senator. He was with Blumenthal, and he said he spoke with Graham this weekend, excited about the Russian sanctions. Graham was, a hawkish interventionist, which, again, I think this will be interesting if he's part of a dying breed, because I think interventionism on all sides of the spectrum is waning to some degree, I think, right? I mean, so I'm not saying that's a good thing or a bad thing. I'm just saying that Graham certainly represents that aggressive interventionist wing of the party that I think doesn't represent the majority anymore.
I would say that if you want to take the position, the absolute position against killing the right people, then just disarm. Get rid of because why do you have an armed forces if not to kill? Why do we need to have battleships and aircraft and missiles and all that? Let's just disband the military.
I don't know that you need to be cavalier and celebrate it, though. I don't know that you need to get in front of your constituents and says, "Hey, we're great. We're cutting taxes and killing." I mean, that is a little cavalier. Come on, guy. I mean, you can say, "Hey, we've got to, deal vociferously at times with our enemies, and we got to do it. Sometimes that's why we have armed forces." But you don't have to go, "We're cutting taxes and killing. I love the party."
Well, there's that. Marshall, followed by David.
Hey, Gary, how you doing?
I'm good. It's a beautiful day. We're going to have another heat wave, but you know what? I'll take that over the cold.
Well, so I think we've lost a titan of the Senate, and one of the things I think has not been said much about Graham is that Graham's an institutionalist. He went from disliking Trump to liking Trump because he believed that when you were in the majority, if you were a president who is of your party, it's your job to work with that president. It's your job to try to accomplish their agenda. I'll also note, in presidents that were not of his party, he worked where he could, in particular on issues of national defense. And John McCain traveled all over the world to places U.S. soldiers were deployed, made sure the average U.S. had everything they needed. And he may have been an interventionist, but he was an interventionist who wanted the military to have every tool at their disposal so that if we decided to use them, they would be as lethal as humanly possible. And I think that is something we're going to sorely miss in Graham, because Graham had a view of American power which a lot of the younger people in the party simply don't have.
Well, you basically said the same thing that Scott said, that his philosophy represents a dying breed, and in this case, I guess literally so. Thank you, Marshall. David,
Gary, did he get the Putin flu? I mean, you think he was over there, right? Did he get the Putin flu, you think?
No, and this is another thing. For God's sake, it didn't take but a minute. And I knew it was going to happen. And I'm watching it, because I'm up at night. So I'm watching this in real time. It didn't take but a minute before all these conspiracy theories come fly. And you know what's great about a conspiracy theory, Scott? You don't have to prove anything.
No, that's what's fun about them, Gary. That's why they're so fun.
I know, but I mean, and Laura Loomer, she had her bets. She said it was either Russia or Iran. So if you say that it was either Russia or Iran, then you don't know diddly squat. If you knew, you would say it was Russia or you would say it was Iran. You don't know diddly squat. And I don't think the president helped matters by making a big deal. Kash Patel, go send the FBI over to his house. Why? Was there foul play suspected? And whoever in his office made the decision to quickly release the preliminary report of his cause of death, I think did the nation a great service. If it was something untoward, of course we want to know about it, but gee God almighty, we got people in this country, their spidey sense tells them that it is even before we know. And that's dangerous, in my opinion. It's fun, but it can be dangerous as well, in my opinion. Not everybody agrees, I'm sure. David, followed by Simba.
Thank you. Just some average, random thoughts. I might be an average citizen, maybe a little bit above average citizen, but you ended with the conspiracy thing, and I think they are damaging because they keep people from the truth and they give them the ability just to cling to one thing than finding out what really happened or admitting to it. But that's the way of the world right now. I want to go back to the thing you said at first. People, men especially, don't go to the doctor enough. And if you do have a yearly checkup, find out if you have what Mr. Graham had, because it is a killer, and you don't have any much chance. If it happens like it happened to him, it's quick. And you can get an aneurysm anywhere in your body, but certain places like the heart are critical. I'll shut up about that. As an above average citizen, I was frustrated by Lindsey Graham because it seemed like maybe he was a little bit like Trump before we had Trump, because every other day he would say something different or contradictory, it seemed to me. But maybe that was the method, it was madness. Anytime we lose an ally of Israel, it's, there aren't enough of them, especially in the Senate, I don't think. And I'm sad to see that happen. And those are my random thoughts.
Clearly, Lindsey Graham, in my opinion, was constrained in his rhetoric somewhat when John McCain was still alive. And when John McCain died, it was like he was liberated, and he said whatever he wanted to say, which he would in the past also, but I think he was a little more constrained because he would consult with McCain. The two of them would talk all the time, and that made a difference, I think. So that may be why he said some of the things that you found disquieting. Thank you, David. Mickey, followed by Les.
Gary, the decision to invade Afghanistan turned out to be a total disaster, and the decision to invade Iraq was also a disaster. And you have to hold people accountable for avoidable disasters. And
Lindsey Graham didn't send us to war in Afghanistan. George W. Bush did. He sent us to war in Afghanistan October the 21st of 2001 by introducing special forces, which then followed on in November with the 1st Division level activity. Didn't have anything to do with Graham. Graham was simply supportive of his president, dude.
Well, I respectfully disagree with our friend Marshall.
Okay, you're welcome to disagree, but Ghost Wars and Directorate S and the 9/11 report say things that are entirely different. Graham was not at the White House pressing to go to war.
Well, I read the reports, and I know what happened, and there's plenty of people that made mistakes at that period, including plenty of Democrats, right? It's a bipartisan fuck-up.
Iran was...
One party. Why are you interrupting, Marshall?
Look,
come on, man.
We asked Mullah Omar to give us bin Laden. He wouldn't give us bin Laden, so we went in. It's not that
Marshall,
difficult.
you're having a particularly bad day. Let me say my piece.
No, I'm not having a particularly bad day. I just don't appreciate you blaming Lindsey Graham for George W. Bush's choice.
Well, I appreciate your view. I acknowledge you. We all love you and care about you, Marshall, especially when you're not drinking. Okay, but
Okay, that's on. You know what? You were doing fine until you made that cast that aspersion. Come on. I don't think that was absolutely I was saying that was totally inappropriate. I was in favor of you continuing your point of view, but not that. We don't make personal attacks in here, and you know it. This is not like some of these other free-for-all rooms. We're not trying to gin up numbers by screaming and hollering at one another. That's disgusting. Les, followed by Dr. Francine.
I think the Republican Party chose his sister to fill in until November because they don't want to have an incumbent that has they want to be able to pick from anyone they want, any of the Republicans, and they don't want to have an incumbent that would have a leg up. That would be a presumed Republican nominee. That's all.
I think that may be the case. I don't know whether she's interested in running or not, and if she did, whether she would get elected or not. But I think it was probably viewed as an appropriate caretaker of the legacy for a few weeks until the primary election could be held. I think you're right about the thinking behind that decision. Dr. Francine, followed by
The
Paul.
primary, she would serve for a few months, right? The primary would be for November, right? I mean, or is there a snap general?
Primary is in August.
Okay, so then that person who's appointed would serve till November, right?
Till November, yes.
Yeah, yeah. By the way, Garrett, a different note. You see what the Republicans did in Kentucky? If we would have a show about McConnell, if he would have to step down, they changed the law in Kentucky so that the governor cannot appoint a senator who they, at their discretion, they have to pick from 4 candidates that the executive committee of the senator's party furnishes. So Brashear will not get to pick a Democrat if McConnell has to step down.
Well, McConnell, I saw him breakdancing with his wife clapping. And I believe everything that I see on the internet. So he did send out a sort of proof of life kind of note. But if you see any videos showing him dancing in his hospital room, you can be assured that it is AI generated. Dr. Francine, followed by.
I saw that. And I thought to myself, he's my age. Could I do that? And I thought, maybe I ought to try. Just kidding. I think that Trump, who was, as we say, close to Lindsey Graham, asked McMaster to appoint his sister because that was as safe as he possibly could get to having someone who would vote like Lindsey Graham on a couple of things that he really needs to have done, one of which is the reconciliation bill or whatever it is that, funds everything, and the other is his very big fave, the SAVE Act. I had a very, very interesting thought when I heard Trump calling into all the TV stations on Sunday morning saying, I just talked to him a couple of hours before he died, and you know what he was really excited about? The SAVE Act. He was going to push for the SAVE Act. Now, we'll never know if that was true or not. I mean, probably was, but we don't know. But we also don't know how his sister is going to feel about the SAVE Act because it has a lot of, unless it's been changed, it has a lot of characteristics in it that are very unfavorable toward women. Like birth names and divorce certificates and all that kind of identity crap that women would have to come up with if the SAVE Act were passed. So I thought to myself, well, they're going to put in someone that, that's very favorable to Lindsey Graham and therefore very favorable to Trump. but at least it's a woman, because if it's a woman with any sense of intelligence, we have a better chance of blocking the SAVE Act than we did before. But I think we have every chance of doing it, because the margin in the Senate is not very great, and it was blocked in the Senate when Lindsey Graham was alive. But before I stop, I want to say that I really feel sorry that he died. I never agreed with him on anything, but that doesn't mean someone has to die. And it's a friend of mine had an aortic dissection, and it is no fun. My friend survived, but I think Lindsey Graham had the deadbolt closed on his house, and the emergency responders couldn't get in. And it's just that amount of time if you have an aortic dissection before you die from it, instead of getting a new aorta, which is highly possible.
Thank you, Dr. Francine. I did a little memory refreshment of our involvement in, I don't want to belabor the point, but it was left dangling because of the unfortunate comment of one of the callers. And I just want to point out that in actual fact, although Lindsey Graham was a strong supporter of both the Iraq and Afghanistan wars and voted consistently on every measure, both in the House and in the Senate, with regards to those wars, Marshall is correct that these were the decisions by the Commander-in-Chief. And in 2007, there was an exception, but we were already engaged in the war. And that's when the Three Amigos, remember the Three Amigos? It wasn't just Graham and McCain, it was
Lieberman.
The Three Amigos aggressively pressured the Bush administration, especially the two Republicans, to implement the 2007 surge, which was designed to stabilize the situation, because they framed it as the only alternative to a catastrophic American defeat. So he was pretty instrumental in convincing the administration then to send an additional 30,000 troops. But I don't think history will show that he was instrumental in the decisions to enter either of those engagements. And I think that's a fair explanation of a misrepresentation that was made earlier. Thank you, Dr. Francine. We'll go to Paul, followed by David. Paul. David, followed by Daryl.
I'm having a brain lapse, but I do want to comment about conspiracy theories that I said none of them are good, but the ones about he's got the Chinese wife who's in the hospital. I've forgotten his name.
Mitch McConnell.
Well, that's not a conspiracy theory. She continued on her trip to China. She did not return from her trip in China when he became very, very ill. We can say we may not know the exact cause of his illness, but he was extremely ill. It's the type of situation where a spouse would normally be by their their betrothed side, and I don't understand why she did not immediately return. That's really very
has also noted that she's ordering new floor covering, which you don't do when your spouse is coming back home, and she's hired a designer and she's remodeling the house. So once you order new carpets, the spouse is usually gone.
Well, that could be something that the two of them had decided on before. I mean, come on. We don't know anything about that relationship, right?
McConnell wouldn't pick carpets. No, the wife does.
Well, we don't know that either, do we? But we know nothing about their relationship. But
And I'm a little tongue in cheek, but I said earlier that no conspiracy theories were good, but this one, you know,
well,
you saw.
I did say that they can be fun. I did say they can be fun.
The dancing one and her side by side with him in the hospital, where the lighting isn't even and it's not a current picture of him. Yeah, something's up with him.
No, that doesn't mean something's up with him. He's not the one putting the AI generated nonsense out. It's people having fun on the internet. That doesn't mean that there's something up with him. That's not evidence of anything other than somebody trolling on the internet and having a good time.
I used the wrong words. A lot of evidence points that his health is worse than they admit. How's that?
Probably a lot of evidence pointed towards the health of the current president being worse than has been said, and probably a lot of evidence pointed to the health of FDR being worse than they said, and probably a lot of other presidents as well, and other politicians and other public figures. Sure, that happens all the time.
When the current president was in the hospital for COVID, they had to throw a lot more stuff at him than they admitted. You know, that he was so strong and it was no problem. It was a big problem. So, yeah.
Ronald Reagan, after being shot, walked into the emergency room when he should not have walked into the emergency room. He should have been immobilized so that that bullet wouldn't move and create more possibly fatal damage. But he said, I can't let the American people see their president unable to walk in, something like that. I don't know the exact words. That was his reasoning. And reportedly, the moment he arrived inside the ER, he collapsed. So what? This is not so unusual. Hillary Clinton, at a 9/11 ceremony at Ground Zero, she collapsed in the heat. And she was back up and running 2 hours later because they injected her probably with something for a fast recovery. This is what politicians and other people in the public realm often do, and I think it's their prerogative to do it to some extent.
May I contribute a comment about FDR?
Sure. When it's your turn, of course. Go ahead, David.
We never saw, was it FDR who's in a wheelchair, and they had him lifted in a crane, right, to get into Air Force One or wherever he was getting into. We never saw JFK with the Addisons, how he was affected.
No, we saw Gerald Ford stumble down the steps of Air Force One. Ha 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 ha. But we never
followed him all his life.
We never saw FDR being lifted into Air Force One. Very good point.
Thank you.
Thank you, David. Daryl, followed by Venkat.
I'm just thinking, guys, R.I.P. Mr. Lindsay, the late senator. And, his sister is, she's the interim. That was pretty quick. Something just seems off with the whole thing to me, man. Coming back from Ukraine and then the Israelis kind of helped us out with some intel with the Iranians planning to assassinate Trump, and then this just seems so off. Something seems amiss.
Why is something amiss? People have sudden onsets of cardiac.
I just don't.
People have sudden onsets of cardiac incidents all the time.
But he just got back from Ukraine.
Yeah, and what if he had just gotten back from the beach? What's the difference? I don't get the argument. So he came back from
If he
Ukraine.
came back from the beach, then I would have felt differently. That's a big difference. He didn't come back from the beach though.
But his physical condition that day would have been the same whether he had gone to the beach or had gone to Ukraine.
But people get poisoned by the Russians all the time.
Is there any evidence that he's poisoned by the Russians?
Why would there be any evidence? Why would they?
Well, then how can you? Then why would you make the presumption or the assertion that that was the case?
Gary, this is just you know what? You're right. You're right. What am I doing? But this is what I would like to do. I did the same thing in a room. See, I double majored in economic political science, and I graduated back in '08. My dad used to work for the Federal Reserve Bank of Dallas. I remember one of my fondest memory was Kudlow and Kramer. Y'all remember Kudlow and Kramer? Such a good show. When he passed away, he's a patriot. Alan Greenspan was a patriot, and when he passed, I did a tribute song to him. I'd like to, if we could just have a moment of silence for the late Lindsey Graham. Regardless of what your political persuasions are, he still was in the Senate for over 20 years. He was a patriot.
I think a lot of people agree with that perspective, including a lot of Democrats. But I'm afraid there are a lot of people
I love this person attack.
who suggest otherwise. Thank you, Daryl. Abby, are you ready to go, or shall I call on you after another person?
Who, me?
If your name is Abby.
Yes, I just got off an airplane. Sorry, I talked for a minute. I'm in a cab. So I don't know what you've been talking about. I just want to say that I had the pleasure and joy in my life to have known Lindsey Graham and to have met him on several occasions. And just absolutely delightful person and very, very funny person, by the way. But he had a beautiful commitment to helping certain causes, and one was to help the Jewish people. And we always will be forever grateful for what he did for our community and also for the state of Israel. And it's just really sad with respect to, I don't know if you've talked about who's taking his place, but it's not uncommon to see a family member. It used to be the case with Congress. I think people are a little surprised about it, but it definitely was a practice before. But I think it will be a big void not having him as part of foreign relations. That's really what I have to say.
Yeah, I kind of mentioned during the opening salvo, Abby, that seniority is everything in the Senate. So even if the ultimate replacement in South Carolina holds the same views as Lindsey Graham, that person will not have the same influence that Graham had in the Senate.
Not at all. I mean, his relationship also with people like Tom Cotton and Ted Cruz. I mean, it was just so strong and unbreakable, and they really were a force to reckon with, and formed a lot of good, strong foreign policy. And he was, his expertise. He was also very close with Rubio when Rubio was in the Senate. But I think it's important to point out how he crossed the aisle and what his relationship was with on both sides of the aisle. He was respected.
Thank you for that, Abby. We'll now go to Venkat, followed by El Normal.
I think, just to, hi everyone, I'm Venkat. So, just to contradict for a second the person that had said there was something nefarious about his death, which seemed like, as you were saying, Gary, like standard cardiac issues that happen to people of his age. And he's young, admittedly, for the Senate, but, in general, it's common at that age. But I just think, like, more than his contributions to Israel, there's no reason he would be assassinated covertly, right? Like, predominantly that would be like an Israeli tactic, so why would they hit their own guy, right? But on a broader thing, it's like, what a big loss this is for the app Grindr. Because Lindsey Graham was known to be a paid member of Grindr or Raya.
Now, this is not nice.
No, he was not.
This is not
No,
nice.
Norm, I don't need your help. No, he was not known to be a member of the app Grinder. You don't have any evidence of that.
No,
Please, no.
The app Grindr.
No, you need to stick to the subject. You need to stick to what we're talking about. You need to not lampoon this man now that he's dead and can't defend himself.
Okay, I didn't mean to lampoon or make light of his death. I just mean to say when he was alive, he lived life to the fullest by attending every orgy in DC.
You don't know that. That's my
Marshall,
point.
he's trolling you.
Norm, I don't need help.
You do. You don't get.
No, I don't.
Norm,
Thank
Norm,
you.
Norm, do not interrupt, please. Marshall, continue.
Vincott, if you would like to comment about his work, if you would like to comment about his stances, that's fine. But unverified stuff about him attending orgies is not the thing we're going to do on this stage.
I don't know where the hell that came from anyway. That's a new one to me. And by the way, what if he did? What does that have to do with his ability as a U.S. Senator? People have different sexual proclivities. You know, live with it. Now you may speak, El Normal, followed by Mr.
Thank you. I just smelled a rat there. That's all.
Well, we didn't need your help in exposing him. He exposed himself. Sometimes you let people speak, and they sound so idiotic that people reach their own conclusions without your.
Let him hang himself. You're right. I'm quick on the trigger. So, very briefly, yeah, there was a controversy about FDR concerning the memorial to him, which is wonderful, in Washington. And my friend's dad made the sculpture. That was what his thing was. Sculptures of presidents and things. Neil Echtern was my friend's father. And they had a sculpture of him in a wheelchair. And I think this was to sort of allow people with disabilities to use an analogy, come out of the closet and not keep them hidden in the shadows. Excuse me. That's what I wanted to say about disability and FDR. About Lindsay, Abby, thank you for getting us on a good foot and remembering all the wonderful things about him, because people have been maligning him somewhat. I'll mention a few things that I've already seen. He did a wonderful eulogy when Joe Lieberman passed away. And, it'll bring tears to your eyes. It's a wonderful eulogy. It's available online. And he used to pal around the world with Joe Lieberman and John McCain. And they called themselves the Three Amigos. And can you imagine these three senators, like, just tripping around the world? Going to important places. So he mentioned a few, and I'll mention those as my submission for today. He starts off at the Coachella. Oh, he actually, and I respect him for doing this, but it was a little bit risque. At Joe Lieberman's funeral, he said, "Are there any Orthodox Jews here?" He said, "I don't." Joe Lieberman says, too many rules. It was very funny. Which is, of course, kind of true, but we have to respect him. And he said Joe Lieberman knew what time was sundown on Friday, like in every place in the world, because once it's sundown, you have to respect the Shabbos. So that was pretty funny. And they went to the Kotel, and John McCain was running for president, so he said that he and Joe Lieberman tagged along with John McCain when he was running for president. McCain went to the Kotel, and he said, "Don't get between John McCain and the Israeli press at the Wailing Wall, or the Western Wall." And so Lindsay said that he injured his knee and he fell to the ground, and he said he was wailing at the Wailing Wall. So that was one thing he said at Joe Lieberman's funeral, which I thought was, loving and warm. Lindsey Graham was such a great speaker. He was really, really a wonderful, and as Abby said, funny speaker. He then goes on to say, everybody's got a Dalai Lama story. So he was with his injured knee when they flew to see the Dalai Lama, and he was and he couldn't get up. So Joe Lieberman brought him over, and Lindsay said, "I didn't know what to say to him. What do I say? Hello, Dolly?" Which is sort of ridiculous, and yet it's funny and winning. And then he goes in this eulogy, anybody here met Gaddafi? Like anybody had ever met Muammar Gaddafi. So he talks about meeting, the three of them, again, the three amigos go to Muammar Gaddafi's tent, in Libya. And he's surrounded by Amazonian guards, security guards. And Lindsey Graham said that Gaddafi was hopped up on every drug you could imagine. I don't know why he said that, but he was all wired. I guess Gaddafi was wired and was talking about all this. Oh, what did he say? Gaddafi said, "You know what the big evil in the world is? Switzerland. And we should cut it up and give part to the French and part to the Germans and part to the Italians."
And John McCain says, "Oh, I'll let Joe respond to that first." So Lieberman goes, "Well, I've never looked at it that way, and I'm so glad that we got to meet you." Just like pure, like sort of senatorial diplomacy. That and one other memory I'll share about Lindsey Graham. And that is his defense of Brett Kavanaugh after the morning in which Kavanaugh took it really took it a lot of punches from de Blasio Ford and others, just really hammering Kavanaugh at the Senate confirmation hearings. And Graham came back. I think that Trump had given him a talking to and said that if you want this guy sitting on the Supreme Court, you better go out there and really just do a what do you call it, a stem winder of a speech. And Graham rose to the occasion. He was electrifying. And if I don't know how many of us are fans. He was not my political taste as a conservative, but of course I tremendously grateful for his friendship with the Jewish people, immeasurable gratitude I have, and I thought his defense of Brett Kavanaugh was enormous, really a tremendous speech. This guy could really rise to the occasion, and you can see the difference between somebody of that level of political talent and some of the other people that you see speaking, whether they're like from the House of Representatives or maybe even their candidates for things. This guy was a very, very, very talented politician. And finally, I'll just land on that he pointed out that Lindsey Graham had very humble beginnings. He said he grew up above a liquor store that his father owned, he compared himself to Joe Lieberman, who also had grown up, whose father owned a liquor store. So that's an American story. You can grow up the father of a merchant and get to meet the Dalai Lama, Muammar Gaddafi, and visit the Kotel, all in the space of a few days. That's an amazing life, well lived. And as somebody said about him, he's not gone, he just changed his address.
Another thing to point out, thank you for that, Norm, is that I heard it reported that 71 is the life expectancy of males in South Carolina. So maybe this will, within the state of South Carolina, draw some focus on the healthcare system there that's, seems to be a little substandard based on that reporting. Thank you, El Normo. Edwin.
Hello. Hi, just to start off, I want to say even outside of America, outside the States, there's such an understanding of what this man stood for on an international level, which was mainly sort of to host international relations in the form of diplomacy, but not only diplomacy, he was a statesman of immense talent, an orator that will be missed, but what he will be most missed for is his brilliant, unparalleled orgies. He loved to host large, lavish orgies.
Where does this come from? Excuse me. Where's this nonsense coming from?
People got sex on the brain today, Gary. Sex on the brain.
He started with saying what a great statesman he was, and then he pivots to that. I have to give him credit. He lulled us in. I'm choking here, but it has nothing to do with the discussion at hand. I had a little tea go down the wrong pipe. Folks, we're here Monday through Friday at 5 o'clock New York time. So until 5 o'clock New York time tomorrow, for the next edition of the Critical Thinking Forum, everybody be safe, be well, and peace out.
Yeah. Any other comments, Cal? All right, Greg.
ID. Nobody would show their ID to somebody that's there and have that person write down their ID number to be able to fraudulently change the vote if that's what occurred. Okay, if they fraudulently change the vote. Secondly, right, this attack would also help with the ballot thing that happened in Georgia. Okay, what does that mean? Well, Save America would help because number one, it would make sure that you can't have ballot boxes. If you actually read it, any changes to the law, which the Secretary of State did on his own, would have to be voted on by the legislature of that state. So the Secretary of State did this without, because he hates Trump, and he thought, oh, I want to be the guy who gave more voting to people and allowed them to do it, and he worked with a Democrat operative group, so what did he do? He did that. So guess what? The legislature has to make these decisions on those changes. So it forces them to do it. And by the way, one I didn't add is in Pennsylvania, and I think William was trying to talk about that as well. In Pennsylvania, you had a governor, Wolf, who went to a 7-1 Supreme Court in his state, Democrat Supreme Court, and got them to change a law that was passed allowing mail-in ballots to then change it and say, hey, this needs to, you can accept ballots that come after Election Day. If they come after, you can accept it, which the law clearly says you can't, but that Democrat Supreme Court did it. Again, the Save America Act mentions in there that the legislature is the one who can only sign off on these laws. So states would be forced to have to say, okay, we got to comply with this. So that's in the act. So if you believe that that stuff doesn't help, I got a bridge to sell you.
Florida, let me ask you a question. Do you think that it's right that the state of California mails a ballot to every citizen? You get mailed your ballot, whether you want to vote by mail or not. You don't have to request it. It just automatically comes to you. So all these other ballots for people who walk in are just floating around out there, or people who don't walk in are floating around out there. People who don't vote are floating around out there. Do you
Not every citizen, every resident will. I just want to be clear.
No, Riri.
Why not? Can you let me?
William, you're not gonna get me to to defend some of the most asinine sort of lack of voting security.
So you're more reasonable than most.
Okay, I just want to say, actually, Democrats and the Democrats are older than Republican a little bit. So you started. Let's go back. Okay. So I think American ideology. It comes from England, which is the United Kingdom. So if you go back to your forefathers, they're all from the Empire of British. When they were born, ideology, they studied Oxford University, some of them studied Cambridge University. So my point is, I never understood the fact that you always trying to, America's current, anyone can come from it, because you have to have a tribe, like in European, Western European, especially non-European, is a tribe ideology, historically. So you have France. France is not French. Frank is Germanic, so it's Germany's Anglo, British, which is, the Vikings. So to me, I feel like everybody is like anybody. If you light skin and you have a green eye, you can be white. But I don't want to be white. I'm not white. I don't think I'm white.
You're all now dumber for having to listen to this shit.
No. It's your stupid ideology of Americans.
Just block her. Only if you paid attention. You still have the same IQ if you just tuned her.
No, I have a low IQ. Don't worry about me. It's fine. You're American. You're American. I think Americans are the most low IQ.
Riri, you have a face for radio and a voice for the newspapers, and I mean those acoustics in your head must be top tiered. I mean, you should go for sniper.
I get it.
I hear the word twat coming up.
I was laughing the other day because
That's a British word.
America's not.
Is there a foundation that helps out people like you? Because I'm willing to donate at this point. I will do a clubhouse fundraiser to help out.
Yeah, it's called Special Olympics.
Yeah, by the way, do you play tennis? Anybody is anything about tennis? You don't understand. Okay, anyway, the point is, America is.
Or maybe I'll go Anonymous.
guys just gotta stop.
Guys, stop being rude to me. That's not right.
Yeah, Canton ditch. It's just not worth it.
Can you just go back to your day job?
If the mods would just keep her off the stage
from us for the whole, like, I don't know.
I'm from Germany and like I'm England, so I don't need to work. I have money. I don't have to work. I can drink every day.
Did you go do something with that money? Buy a dog
I don't have to
so it
work.
can run away?
I need the mods to put a poll up for the room to vote on, and I need that poll to be:
Don't be jealous.
should Riri be blocked from the stage for eternity? And it's just a simple yes or no.
Lock her in a room with John. Lock her in a room with John.
70 years ago, that was yesterday. Like Biden is like 100. Like how old is he? Biden's old. So American existence is not that long. 250 years ago, that's like yesterday. With all due respect. So I'm just trying to explain.
Thank you, Riri.
They're being racist. They're being horrible. And Donald Trump. I like Donald Trump. Donald Trump's mom's from Scotland.
Thank you, Riri. Thank you so much, Riri.
Why wouldn't they let me speak here?
Okay. Malcolm, welcome. You are back. It seems like you took your break after 10 hours on the stage. Sean knows all about that. And Sean, welcome.
You guys are not Anglo. You're not fighting like you. Just stop being white.
Wow. Macy.
So William, like I was saying, man, honestly,
Can you imagine those two in a room together?
listen, William, you're never gonna get me to go
I would understand OJ.
defending some of the
Riri and
most
Bibi make me understand OJ. I would do the same fucking thing. I'd dig up Johnny Cochran and move his fucking skeleton like a puppet at that point.
But remember, the original question that began this entire conversation was, why should the states count ballots after Election Day? Look at how far we've come. We moved the goalpost drastically from making the original claim that fraud happens. That we moved the goalpost originally from fraud happens because votes are counted late and certifications don't occur until 30 to 60 days down the road, to actually there's so many other ways that are reasonably much more dangerous for election integrity.
No, I agree.
We started with the fraud and you framed it that way.
Yeah, I started on the big umbrella of it, and then we got into the details. Because I agree with what William's saying. I mean, we can get into the details. It's not so much moving the goalposts. There's actually a whole slew of other issues that William brought up, and you and William were going back and forth on. That is definitely something I'm aware of, and it's actually a lot worse. I can add more to it too, by the way. But I don't think it's moving the goalposts. That's just getting into the details. My general premise was, I don't understand why people are still counting ballots after Election Day. To me, I think that's just stupid, and I don't see any reason why people, election people, are doing that. Like they have a total vested interest to change the results. Like, why introduce that? Like, that's just crazy to me. I don't know.
Why create the doubt? Why give doubt
That's
to
my
the
point.
equation?
Exactly.
It doesn't create doubt. Not in my mind. It doesn't create doubt.
It does create doubt.
These other things that you talked about creates doubt. But as far as whether a ballot is cast the day of, 3 days after, 5 days after, 10 days after, that doesn't create any additional doubt in my mind.
But Florida, listen, the doubt comes from the fact of how many ballots are still being counted, how far out. When you look at how long it takes the ballots to be counted, if you can count 50 to 100 of these in an hour, how many people does it take and how many days? When you do the math, it should have been done much, much quicker. And the doubt comes from the fact that in LA County, what happened was Karen Bass was getting a certain percentage of the votes, and then as soon as it came down to either Spencer or Rahman, all of a sudden she stopped getting that same percentage of votes. That's really suspicious in most people's minds.
Right.
And the only reason and the only ability to be able to fraudulently create some sort of mechanism by which that changed. It's the fact that suddenly you don't have 9,000 people in the room. You don't have 1,000 people in the room. You have 100 people in the room. And who are those 100 people? The people you have handpicked that are most all Democrats. Because do you know how much harder it is to get approved to be one of those counters, to be an independent or a Republican than a Democrat? We don't know because they won't tell us. They won't give us insight into the process.
Suspicion that it is. You should ask the league to start some investigation with your state DOJ. Report that to your attorney general. Let them know, hey, I've applied. Like,
in the argument report, do you have any idea how funny that is for you to say that?
I know, but it's still weird to hear. But Florida, I'm with your position. Like, if it was just like 500, 1,000.
The point
whatever,
is that Williams is making excuses.
No. I'm just saying. Like,
no, I'm showing you where the fraud happens and why it.
Yeah,
but you are. But then you're making excuses for why Republicans can't be part of the counting process.
No, I'm giving you the reality of how
so much harder for a Republican to get certified and approved to be in the counting office.
It is.
Well, then if you have verifiable or reasonable suspicion of that, fill out some form, hire a lawyer, and have them work a pro bono case for you. Because any civil rights attorney worth their weight that's reasonably conservative. Any reasonably conservative constitutional lawyer, civil rights lawyer, if there are any anymore. Anyone worth their weight in fucking paper would pick that case up and work it pro bono.
If there's proof. It's like if you go into a job interview and they don't give you the job interview and you walk out, you can clearly tell it was because of your race. Can you prove it was because of your race?
You don't need the proof in order to get the pro bono lawyer to take on the case. You need reasonable suspicion, reasonable evidence, reasonable suspicion.
Who would you go to and where do you think that case would go?
A conservative, constitutional, or civil rights attorney.
You got the lawyer, now what?
They start an investigation by potentially subpoenaing or getting witnesses, opening some sort of quote-unquote class action type of thing, getting other people to testify, etc., etc.
You got a bunch of circumstantial evidence, no smoking gun, now what? Can we jump forward to we're at the Ninth Circuit?
Yeah, you put the public pressure on the state of California's Attorney General and DOJ to like do something about it or not. And if they don't, that creates a fucking firestorm.
And Bonta isn't going to care.
That's fine, you can say that, but he's never been tested.
These people have been tested. You do understand that
you guys have never filed any sort of fucking lawsuit like this.
You do understand that Newsom's wife is about to be indicted, and Newsom doesn't even give a fuck. Newsom's like, oh no, it's all a witch hunt.
That's a completely irrelevant point.
You're Don Quixote. You're Don Quixote. Your point, absolutely. In a perfect, fair world, sure. This is not a perfect, fair world. It's California. Okay? There's nowhere to go.
Do you believe that the Constitution should prevail?
Absolutely.
Then let's get a conservative civil rights attorney or constitutional attorney on the case. Let them open up some investigation and take the case pro bono, because if they win, it'll be the biggest fucking civil rights case that the conservatives have ever had in American history. Or at least recent American history.
And I bet you Spencer Pratt is working on it right now.
Fantastic. And I hope it goes somewhere. But let's see if it does.
It won't.
Let's see if it even gets to the point where a lawyer files a public statement.
It likely won't. Those lawyers are sitting down with Spencer right now saying, well, all it is a publicity stunt. Because that's all it will be. Nobody's talking about the election fraud. Nobody has the proof of this stuff.
You know what else was a publicity stunt? They're eating the cats. They're eating the dogs. And look what happened. It started a mass communication channel for people to discuss the significance of immigration. So even if it's just a publicity stunt, it can still matter on a grand scale in the court of public opinion.
Okay, but you strayed way far off of what's wrong with the SAVE Act.
Yeah, just wait for that to come through, it'll be Thursday night. Donald Trump will be having an announcement, and that media firestorm has already begun.
Do you know how many cats and dogs there are in America?
How many? Man,
Do we know how many lists there were?
I don't understand white people like you, Florida. Like, disingenuous white people like you is so scary to me. Why is that? Because you will with your mindset, you will open up the borders. You will let Iran be able to develop a nuclear weapon. You will have it where we'll be in Sharia law. You will have it where we would have to learn Spanish. We would be predominantly the majority.
Wait. He's not that bad. He's one of the better ones. Come on.
So he's not a far left boy.
No. Spend some time in a room with Florida. Florida's actually one of the good ones.
Is he a Michael Bloomberg kind of Democrat?
I'll let him defend himself, but he's not everything you try to think about.
Talking to.
I don't think
You're not talking to a Democrat at all, dickhead.
Are you
talking to someone that's Trump deranged or
Florida? Florida, for the conversation, do you vote in person or do you vote by
in person? Never voted by mail once. I'm absentee.
Is it difficult for you to get to the poll on the day of the election?
Not at all.
Would you have trouble changing your maiden name to get an ID?
Fortunately not.
Are you part of the 80% that wants it, or part of the 20% that doesn't want voter ID?
I'm completely okay with my state having voter ID law.
There you go, Sean. Is that enough proof for you, Sean?
Well, I thought
does that sum it up?
Well, I thought he was one of them far left boys where we got to just open up the borders.
I know, that's why I stepped in to defend it.
Undocumented immigrants. We got to give illegals food, health care, food stamps, and also down payment assistance like these liberals here in California is. See, I'm talking to the liberal white West Coast motherfuckers, so I usually take off most people that are liberal or Democrat or got Trump derangement syndrome where they'll just open up the doors to every.
You have to show your ID to vote in Florida?
Yeah, I do. Shit, California, it's open gangway. And I'm okay with it. And in addition to showing my ID, I have the sweet old white lady sitting there for volunteer hours at her retirement home. She's working behind the little table. Hello, sir, Mr. Florida Mensch the Great. Will you please show me your ID and will you please answer these questions on the iPad? And I tell her, yes, Mrs. Johansson, I'll fill out the questions on the iPad. And the most important one that always sticks out to me every fucking time is the most important one on the fucking iPad. Do you solemnly swear and affirm under perjury of law that you are a U.S. citizen?
Yeah, we don't have that checkbox.
I don't believe you. Because every state, all 50 states, have a law, a local state law, that requires, in order to vote in statewide elections, that you must be a U.S. citizen. There are small jurisdictions throughout the country, such as Sacramento or San Francisco.
They don't have that law in every state.
All 50 states. All 50
No, it doesn't.
states.
It's not.
50 states.
No, you're wrong. You're incorrect.
Find one state that doesn't require you to be a U.S.
Minnesota, Montana, California, New Jersey, New York, Maine, Connecticut, or Massachusetts. Take a list of. I mean, you're going to have to look it up. You can go find it because you said there has to be a little obligatory that they have some kind of thing saying they're American citizens. And in fact, in a lot of the state elections and local elections that don't involve a federal office, they can vote. People vote. So your statement is wholeheartedly, broadly resounded no. California would be the first place I would search for a state that didn't have it. Oregon, Washington, Nevada, fuck, even Arizona, I'd probably throw in there.
There's no state that explicitly allows non-citizens to vote in state or local elections. Every state with voter registration, every state. Look, I'm looking on your ballot.
I'm telling you right now, I can get it too. California allows people to determine.
You can argue with me, Brad, or you can let me finish my point.
Again, they can vote.
Every state
this idea
with
that
voter
you have,
registration.
You're trying to go in this whole straw man, and I've been listening to it while
I'm
I'm
not going into a straw man. I'm
again,
telling you what the fucking ballotmedia.org website says.
Fucking wrong.
This is
I hate people who fucking think
every state with voter registration requires voters to attest that they are a U.S. citizen when registering to vote. And 12 states have passed laws requiring proof of citizenship to vote. Okay, but I'm looking for something.
We'll go this way.
Hello?
Non-citizen voting in the U.S. The map below indicates which U.S. states allow or prohibit non-citizen voting in elections for
Why
state
is
or
there a
local
fucking
offices.
map?
It
Why is
also
there a map?
indicates
You
which
idiot.
states
You
have
fucking
approved
retarded
ballot
cocaine
measures
sniffing
related to non-citizen
fucking
voting.
idiot.
The map
You are
below
the fucking
indicates which
dumbest fucking
states
person in this
allow
fucking
or
room. Next to
prohibit
Riri.
non-citizen
All of
voting
you
in
that fucking
elections
son
for
went with
state
this
or
fucking
local
shithead
offices.
are actually dumber now.
Certain
Because he's as
jurisdictions
competent as
in California
fucking
allow
Riri.
non-citizens to
New
vote
York,
in
You
local
have New Hampshire,
elections.
all of these. States that allow non-U.S. citizens, you fucking twat waffle, that do vote. Let's see. Oh, New York! Wow, that first one popped right up, didn't it? Holy shit. There you go. So we have Maryland, California, Vermont. Oh, those are three. God, you're a fucking
Maryland's state constitution specifies that every citizen of the United States of the age of 18 years or upwards who is a resident of the state as of the time before the closing of registration next preceding the election shall be entitled to vote in the ward or election district in which the citizen resides at all elections to be held in this state. The state constitution gives municipalities the authority to allow people outside of those qualifications to vote without requiring state approval. That is to say, if Baltimore wanted to allow non-citizens to vote for the fucking local dog catcher or for the head librarian of the county, then the city of Baltimore would be permitted to do that on a local level.
That's where
not on a statewide race.
That's where y'all so dangerous. Y'all is so fucking dangerous. You act like
We should just shoot fuckers like this. Like, we really should. We should walk up, just put a round in the head, and just fucking done. I mean, these guys are like,
you're an absolute lunatic. You need to see a
you're
therapist.
right. I'm a lunatic.
You need to go visit your wife's grave. You need to go hug your daughters. You need to go tell your dog that you love him.
And then you fucking done this shit, you fucking cokehead, you fucking stalker. Why don't you go back to trying to go get Talia to fucking
Why
with
don't
your
you
balls?
go get arrested for
Why don't you
stealing
fucking
another
go
car
after
with
telling
kids in
women
it?
about how they're in there
Why don't
and
you
go
go
back
get
and fucking
evicted
being
from
that
another
pedophile rapist
property?
that you were? How about you go back to being that guy that was fucking trying to rape girls on here? You want me to start going through that shit, motherfucker? How you're gonna stick your dick in their ass?
From two
How you were gonna fucking swallow
one
it
in
for it?
New York,
You fucking
one in
cocaine fucking ad,
Minnesota.
you fucking piece of shit.
You're the one
How
that's
about
been
you fucking
evicted
going up
twice.
to all these
You're the
women
one
in the
that's
back
been
channels,
arrested for
telling
trying to
them all
steal a
that
car.
shit.
You just make shit up about
creepy ass fucking mother. You fucking piece of shit cokehead.
Yeah, you
Go
started
tell me
this
you're gonna
fight,
sip
Brad.
cocaine off their fucking tits.
You started this fight,
fucking
Brad.
ass. I don't give a fuck about you. I'll tell you what, I'm in Houston. You want me to come to Austin there? You want me to come to Dallas, motherfucker? Because I guarantee your bitch ass will disappear for a year again. I'll beat your fucking ass right down.
Let's dial it back a little bit. Holy crap.
I can beat your fucking ass anytime, Florida. I know where you're at, motherfucker. I'm in Texas too. Come out here. Come out. Come out. Come on, buddy. Come on. Come on. You got that shit, right?
Barely have a
You
job
fucking
at a
cocaine
local
raping
healthcare
fucking
facility
motherfucker.
as a
How
fucking
was that
medical
little
billing
sentence you had to
assistant.
do? How was that whole thing about you being unemployed getting fired? How about that whole shit
Who got
storm
fired?
that you fucking created? How
What are you
about we
talking
get
about?
Talia on here about her back channel messages and that creepy shit you were doing?
What are you
wanna lick
talking about?
cocaine off her pussy? All that
fucking
shit.
retarded, bro.
You want to
Literally
fucking ask
make shit up.
women
You
about,
live in a
hey,
delusional
can I
reality
fucking go
that you
have
make
your
up.
way with
This
you?
is why you
I
vote for
love you.
people like
I
Donald
wanna
Trump.
rape- I
You're
wanna do
deranged,
shit. You're a
you're delusional,
fucking
and you're
fucking
broke.
asshat. You're always in these women's back channels, and all they do is put you on fucking blast in every room. You're a fucking
Get one of them in here right now. Let them
little
put me on
fuck ass
let's hear
who
from the
wants to
world
brag
to see.
about doing
Ping
cocaine,
one of them in here right
spitting
now.
baking powder,
Ping one of them in
most
here
of the
right
fucking
now.
time
Let's talk
off of
about
some
it.
fucking guy's
Ping
dick.
one of them in
That's
here
what
right
you
now.
are. And I
Let's
tell you
talk
what,
about
dude,
it.
anytime
I'll
you think
wait.
you're a fucking
I'll
big man
wait.
about it,
Ping one of them
that's
in
toe
here
to
right
toe with
now.
me.
Let's
You ain't
talk
got
about
it,
it.
you motherfucker.
Ping one of them in
Go
here
back
to
to being a
testify on
rapist
your
or little
behalf.
fucking
Call
pedophile
one to the
wannabe. There
fucking
it is.
stand as
Go
a
back to,
witness.
hey, go
Call
back to
one of them to
touching
the
little
stand as a
fucking girls.
witness.
That's why
Lying
you
sack
can't
of
fucking do
shit.
it. Disappear off this fucking app again with your fucking bullshit and your lies and all that fucking shit. You broke ass fucking mama's boy trying to fucking pick up girls online.
You're the one that's
and
been fucking
doing all that
evicted
fucking
from
creep
2
fucking
different
shit in the
apartments.
back channels. There's a laundry list of women who have called you out, motherfucker.
Ping one of them
What
in
you
here right
talking about,
now.
you
Let's
creep
talk
fuck,
about it.
rape ass fucking motherfucker. And I tell you what, dude, I can be in Dallas. It's 3 hours away, motherfucker. Anytime you want. I can tell you that. I'll make another serial killer move on there. I'll leave your body in Travis Lake. How's that one?
All right, let's break it up.
Yeah, I can do that shit for you, buddy. Right there in that backyard, can I?
We're good. Okay.
I don't know, but that does sound like a credible threat of violence. And the state of Texas
You
would
think I
take
forgot
really
a year ago?
serious.
You think I forgot 2 years with your fucking bullshit on this app? You're just as fucking creepy as Edmund. You're just as creepy as all these other fucking weirdos out here. Fucking trying to sit there and act like you're some fucking tough guy or some suave guy. I want to go into the political rooms, and then you guys are retarded. But meanwhile, you're sitting there trying to get in women's back channels telling them, oh, I want to snuff coke off your fucking crotch. You're a fucking disgusting fuck. Like, every time you speak, you are retarded, autistic. I put you in the category of one of those people that if you came near my daughters, I wouldn't care. 2 in the chest, 1 in the head. And I'd probably put a second round to the head to make sure you couldn't get back up. Flat fuck. Anytime you want.
I hate it when mommy and daddy fight like this. It really bothers me.
Okay, real quick, serendipity. You did drop something in chat to nullify what Florida's claim was, right? Serendipity.
Well, he's right and he's wrong. He is absolutely right that every state requires that a person attest under penalty of perjury when they go to register to vote. That is true. Every state does not require that you reattest and affirm that you are a citizen when you go to vote. It's when you register.
It's the registration part that's where that comes play, right? That's what you're saying.
Correct.
Yeah.
Well said. Well said.
We don't do that when we vote. We just sign.
But that's what I brought up to Joe the other day is, what if you had to upload at the time of registration your proof of citizenship, and that would show up on the iPads depending where you are, but on the iPads when you check in to vote, right? So they could see right there. So if you didn't have a voter ID, at least they could pull up your birth certificate or whatever documents, or just some verification that we've received your documentation. And that's what a real ID, by the way, requires anyway.
Yeah, they could scan the back of your real ID. Done.
But let's say you didn't bring your real ID. They can at least say there should be a check mark in the system saying, yes, we verified his real ID, right? At least you know that, hey, there is a verification that this person has a real ID, or the real ID number pops up on the screen. Let's say you didn't bring your ID, you forgot it, whatever, and they don't want to do voter ID for whatever reason. Fine. Then, but they have the documents from that. That's why states, I've been saying this for a long time, the reason states are doing this real ID thing is because they're not able to verify who the people are in their state, and so they're forcing the individuals to provide them data so that they can do it. Well, now you finally have the data in the systems, so now you know who can vote. I mean, it's easy. When you register to vote, they should be able to pull up and say, hey, you have a real ID, you're not a citizen, or you're a green card holder, sorry, you can't, and now we're going to get you on fraud or penalty for perjury because you attested you're a U.S. citizen or whatever, right? I mean, those kinds of things can be done, but when the person registers, most of the time the state doesn't know whether the person's actually a citizen or not. So when do they do it? After the vote is casted, which is ridiculous.
If they do it at all.
Correct. And so that's stupid, right? So I'm just saying do it up front, and if it's a poll tax, it's this and that. Well, is it a poll tax to ask them update their birth certificate? Then you get people go, well, women change their name and all that stuff. Okay, well, anyway, if you get a real ID, you still have to put the the burden on the government by you providing them the document, and it's up to them to verify you are who you say you are. So regardless, you're providing them the documentation.
Yeah, and
Right?
it's not a poll tax. There's three different court cases. I don't remember them off the top of my head. They determined it is not a poll tax as long as you give low income people an ability to say, I'm going to file this form, a waiver saying I can't afford it. Boom. I think it was Ohio was one of the states. There's three different court cases. I don't remember.
But William, even with that waiver, you can say, but with the waiver, you still got to provide us this documentation that we can upload.
Right. I'm just saying, just requiring the ID and requiring the check being a poll tax that has already been decided by three different
I'm
courts.
okay with no poll tax so long as the state can say, yes, I have verified that this person's a citizen up front. So when they walk in, they go and say, are you William? Say, yeah. You look at it, they pull up on the screen. You can look right at their screen. Say, okay, I have all your documents here. Okay, great. You signed. They also signature match because you had to sign something at least once. They signature match it, and then they go, okay, yeah, this is you. Go ahead. They can do. Oh, poor people don't have signatures. Well, that's not a poll tax. That's, whatever.
So, I just want to jump in for a second. I don't have a lot to add. I'm not an expert on elections, although I am an elections official, but I'm still somewhat new to the role and I'm learning a lot. There's so much to learn. But I will say this, I ask a ton of questions. I try to stay as neutral as possible because the truth is I hear good arguments on both sides of the aisle. I've had a front row seat for the past year plus at a lot of these different hearings and whatnot, and there's a lot of dramatics on both sides, a lot of theatrics. But one thing that I keep hearing from the poll workers themselves is that it's very frustrating to them that the politicians and even the board, the big state board of elections, that they tend to make changes without really doing the homework to consult the actual people that utilize the thing day in and day out. And it seems to me that a lot of the issues that people have, either there already is a mechanism in place that is actually being used that people just aren't aware of, or there's a software or a process that is available that just isn't being optimized or isn't being forced to be used. You know what I'm saying? Like, there are all remedies for a lot of these things, and instead of actually using what we have, or talking to the people to really fine-tune the processes to fix these things, instead they just want to be the hero, right? And put sweeping legislation or big changes in place that are going to cost way more money, and just so that they can be the hero of the day. You know what I'm saying? So that's been my biggest takeaway. So,
well, my solution costs no money to the government. You're asking the person to upload their documents. Done. Need for a new ID. You're not putting money in to get this ID. You're paying people salaries to go and find these people, and go to the town and do it because the people aren't able to get to the office. You just ask them to upload their documents, and the onus is on the voter, right? And well, okay, but that's horrible. Well, okay, but they have to register too, right? So how are they registering? It's very simple, and you're responsible to update your record. So if your name changes or something happens, then you update your record.
We're talking about the states having control, or just I'm responding. What am I responding to? What are you guys talking about?
What do you want to respond?
No, I know you got about voting, but I just wanted to make sure I was speaking to the right topic.
Voter ID. You think about voter ID? We're talking about saving America.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, no, I agree with voter ID. I think we have a large issue as well, even with the states trying to reject voter ID. The Supreme Court has already ruled on this, and it's interesting that they kind of went against their own ruling. I guess they're not keeping in contact with history. But in 1880, they already ruled on this, and they called upon the Constitution, Article 1, Section 4, Clause 1, where it specifically says make and alter regulations. So whatever the federal government wants to do with their federal elections, they have the right to do it, and the ruling of the majority literally says the states have to receive whatever directions they get from the federal government because it's a federal election. So whatever the federal agencies say they want in a federal election that's managed by the states, they have no choice but to acquiesce. It's not even really a question anymore. They just, I guess, the Supreme Court justices are not paying attention to the rulings of the past. If Trump wants all of the votes in one day, then exactly what he should get. But I guess that didn't come up in the court case. But yeah, I totally agree with voter ID.
Yeah, I guess Holly's on the phone, but that computerized system she was talking about in California is ironically called the SAVE system.
Yeah. I mean, I don't get why it's so complicated for people regarding voting and verifying who you are. Everything we do, we have to verify our identity. I mean, I understand they're saying voting is a sacred right and everything, and it's a constitutional right. Well, isn't the right to bear arms also? And I've shown ID to buy arms, right? So, I mean, bizarre. And the argument is, oh, you can hurt someone with it. Well, my vote could also hurt someone too.
Well, King, is there enough people to disenfranchise even to affect an election? If that's the argument being made, is there enough people that would actually affect the election even? What do you think?
Matt, poor people are just as capable as white people.
Exactly. And again, I don't know if it was you. We kind of had this discussion not long ago. All of a sudden, it seemed like this particular issue wasn't an issue during Obama's election, right? The whole get an ID, the whole get a birth certificate, get the documentation all lined up. And it only became a problem when Republicans started talking about it, right?
Well, no, Matt, it's been an issue for a long time. Even the issue was debated during the Bush Gore thing as well. It's been debated for a long time, this whole thing. And the poll tax issue has always been a major thing. In fact, I was reading something that Lyndon Johnson was pushing, like he was pushed hard to say, we'll add voter ID to some of this. And he put, remember the famous phrase, what is it? I'm going to have these blanks voting Democrat for 200 years, right? Yep. Well, and part of that was, we don't want to have voter ID in it, right? We don't want to ask them to have ID. We don't want to pay for them to have ID, right? There could be other reasons beyond voting. But the fact is there's no interest in doing that. And so this has been going on for a very long time, and so it's not just the whole thing. The other thing that's interesting is I'm old enough to remember when Donald Trump was busing people to polls to vote for him so that he could get record numbers. Was that in 2016, Joe? When he was busing people to all the different polls and picking them up and giving them alcohol on the bus and hanging out and all that, Joe? Was that 2016 when he did that, or?
Democrats have been busing in voters for decades. Yeah.
Well, he was busing in white poor people because that's what what's his name, Joe Biden said. He was busing in white poor people to the polls to vote for him because that's what he did, offering them free food and all that stuff. And it's actually, did you know it's actually legal as long as you're 100 feet away from the polling center? You can actually, the campaign can organize a bus, the people can come there, you can serve food, you can do whatever you want to do, you just can't come within that 100 feet. And so you can just go outside and say, hey, now go vote. And people go, man, the guy gave me a meal, I'm going to go vote. And it's like, okay, and they went and did it, and they showed up there, and hey, I don't need an ID, I don't got an ID. Well, that's all right, don't worry about it, just walk in, because I know the rules here. I mean, that's part of the scam in this whole thing, Matt.
By the way, is California the only one or the only state that has it where when you register for your license, you're automatically registered to vote? Does anybody have that in their states? Or?
No, that was a federal law that Clinton put into practice.
So wait, most of the states do that, Sarah?
Yes.
So I just renewed my shit just now. That's what I'm living.
That's no
now is required.
It's check box. It didn't automatically.
So So wait, there's no checkbox. It's just
They don't-
that's how long it's
That's
been.
what I'm saying. I just re-registered. I just renewed my SINs, right? And that you have to do it online, right? You can't you can't claim it, but they totally discourage you from doing it. So you do it online and you fill out all your information. It's a checkbox now. They don't automatically register.
Correct.
You either check it on or off.
They don't have to automatically register you. They just have to provide the option. They have to provide the option.
Because they gave me the
Correct,
option.
but they
Like,
used
I
to
was
make it
just-
automatically.
But you know,
like
the
30
shit.
minutes.
I think California.
God damn, bro.
But I could be wrong. Go ahead,
So the
Sean.
No, I'm in California.
I am too.
So the shit.
I had to.
Go on, Sean.
God damn, bro.
Go ahead.
You're kind of in the matrix, Sean, a little bit. Sorry.
Yep. Sorry. Go on.
Hold on. My bad. Hold on. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. Can you hear me now?
You're good now. Yeah, sorry about that. You were
Now.
kind of like going in and out. We couldn't tell where you were. But go ahead.
Okay, so I just had to renew my shit 30 minutes ago. And when I was on the phone with the lady, she was like, yeah, it's gonna ask you, are you registered to vote? I said, yes, I'm already registered to vote. Then it asked my party preference. Then it gave me the renewal, so I can be able to get my shit all bada boom, bada bing, pay my $35, $40 to be able to get my damn shit renewed. But it wasn't automatically. It didn't automatically give me that option. I had to choose.
Yeah, they just changed that.
Yeah.
Now you know the part that I find.
So-
You know the part. Oh, go ahead.
So I just want to say, so in New York, when you register, here's the problem: the attestation that Serendipity mentioned is not there when you get your license and you check that box to say you want to register to vote. It's also not there when you go to renew your license. So that means that a green card holder could click the box, say yes, I want to register to vote. And the onus is on the government or the state government to come and say, oh no, I'm going to remove him because he's not there. Why not just add that attestation? If you click this box and that attestation shows up, nobody knows, nobody asks, and so nobody does anything.
I guess the part that I find interesting about it is that with the voter ID bill, it makes reference to the Real ID Act of 2005. And this is where I start to question if some of my people, black people, are their thinking caps on. Because if you voted since 2005, then I don't understand how this will be an issue for.
Naveen, hold on. According to the 1993 voter law, the attestation is actually there. You apply or renew for your driver's license, the DMV asks whether you want to register to vote, or in some states there is automatic voter registration recently. This notifies you that your information will be used unless you opt out. And if you proceed with voter registration, you must attest under penalty of perjury that you meet the eligibility requirements, including that you are a U.S. citizen.
When I did mine, I didn't get the attestation in New York, so
Yeah, I had.
or maybe they already knew. Maybe they knew because I had to put in my details. They knew that I was already a citizen, so they didn't put it in there. Serendipity. So I'm just giving you my experience.
I had to attest that I was a citizen, but I am curious. But I attested it, I believe, if I remember correctly, at the top of the list. So then when I got to the voter ID, I had already said I was a citizen. When you click the overall, you've answered all the questions, you're agreeing to that. But I would be curious to see if you clicked I'm not a citizen, would it still then give you the option to register to vote, come from the system or not?
Yeah,
I'm not sure I would pick that thing, but I would be curious to hear somebody try it and what the result is. And of course, if it is that way, that would just be a website glitch. That wasn't intentional. That's just bad development, right?
Looks like New York changed it after I renewed. It says on their website now, registering to vote is now easier than ever. Eligible applicants are automatically registered to vote during many DMV transactions, such as applying for a learner's permit, driver's license, or non-driver ID. or when you change your name or address, unless you opt out of automatic voter registration. But then the opt-out is part of your profile and not part of the actual submission. That's incredible. Wow. So it's a subscription on your profile that you have to say, I don't want automatic registration to these following things, which is being a kidney donor, registering to vote, all that kind of stuff. If you don't update that, they'll automatically register you. Wow. Well, good thing I got mine renewed before they did that. Holy.
Easy. So they would automatically do it if you don't do certain things? That's just
right.
Wow.
No, when you go to apply for the DMV, one of the very first things that you have to do is attest that you are a citizen of the United States. And if you don't, you are not automatically registered.
King's situation was that he was already identified as a citizen, so it was different, right? That's correct.
Probably was different because I was already a citizen. So.
Okay, got it.
Could be. I mean, I had to log in, my profile's there, and I had to renew. So, I mean, chances are they knew who I was because they didn't ask me, are you a citizen or anything when I renewed. Probably because they already know. Would you assume that serendipity? That's probably what it was.
That you originally attested when you got your driver's license.
Probably, yeah, way back when. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I got it when I was 16, my junior life, the first time. So I don't know if they even asked me back then. It was too long ago.
So walk me through this. I know this is like whatever season 3 when we're doing all these elections and trying to figure this stuff out. If I just walk over the border, sneak in, like somehow pull that off. I mean, I don't know why I'm saying pull off. Anybody could do it or had been doing it prior to Trump. And I go to the DMV. Is there anything stopping me from not becoming registered to vote?
Well, you'd be committing well, Matt, the assumption is that you're going to lie and say that you are a citizen, right? Which, how would they know if you are or aren't? That's the premise I've been saying this whole time. Exactly. How would they know if you are or aren't? So you could say you are, register, get everything, and then everyone, if you talk to all these election experts, they go, so even if you did, after you cast the ballot, when they're doing their thing like 3 months later, and they go and look at it, then they'll find out that you're not a citizen. It's like,
but that doesn't happen. No one's doing that. Like, who's doing that?
But even if they are, but Matt, even if they are, let's say in 2020, 20,000 people, let's just say hypothetically did that, right? And they do this whole thing 3 months later where they go and they're checking the rolls, they're verifying all the voters were citizens. Let's just say 3 months later. Are you saying now they're going to go and
excuses for all the reasons why this is all okay? I get that. But, okay, so the Save American Act, I don't know all the details. Does this solve any of this, King-Nab? Like this whole aspect of it?
not the registration piece of it. It's all, every state is to require voter ID to vote in federal elections, but not in state elections because the federal government can't tell you how to do it in the state elections.
That's not true. They are required to be a U.S. citizen to vote in federal or state elections. It's only local elections that get the exception.
No, but I think Save America doesn't address what the legislature needs to do.
Because it's already addressed. The states also have to require you to be a U.S. citizen.
But the state can say for state elections, we're not going to take, we don't have to see the voter ID. The federal government can't say for state elections, you have to see their ID. If it's like a off-year election, the state could say, we're not going to take that because there's no federal elections, we're not going to check your ID. That's what I'm trying to say. Nowhere in it does it say for state elections. It talks about only federal elections.
So, just to get a refresher for everybody that's joining us, we're kind of giving a crash course or a refresher because I believe this is going to come up in Thursday night's speech around, Joe, did you say the Georgia election? Even though it says foreign interference, does this have something to do with the raid in Georgia, I believe you said, right? Or who was that? Whoever said that? Joe, was that you?
That was Joe.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm trying to get caught up, refresh, because I have a feeling for the next couple of days after that, we're going to be talking about elections how this all works and that whole thing. So
Well,
it's gonna get.
I texted Joe something that I found interesting. The media is using the language. Let me read what I told Joe. I said the media is using the language saying that President Trump plans to reveal a foreign nation's plans to interfere in the 2020 presidential election based on intelligence. Now, in 2020, before the election, Radcliffe gave a statement, and at that time, I think Radcliffe was he CIA or FBI? He was one of those. He wasn't FBI, but I think he was Director of National Intelligence. He was Tulsi's role. And he basically made a thing saying that there's evidence that China and Russia both are intending to interfere in the election. He made that statement beforehand, right? So if it's just a regurgitation of that, Matt, it's a failure. But if it's actually, hey, there's evidence, and he's presenting evidence, but no, none of the articles so far are saying the president intends to share evidence. They're saying share plans by a foreign nation to do it. Which, again, if Trump says they planned to do it, well, okay, did they do it? Well, we're still investigating that. It's like, oh, okay, all right.
Yeah, that does not sound like a smoking gun.
And that's what we've gotten so far is plans, right? There's plans that China wanted to do. There's plans that this happened. There's plans of this stuff, but we haven't gotten the conclusive evidence.
That's what I've been saying is Trump needs something more than just the rhetoric that he's been saying. And I think I would hope he knows that. I mean, I'm assuming Trump is smart enough to realize that he's going to have to do something different to change this to his favor, right? Because it doesn't seem like he's getting anywhere with that particular piece. So he's going to have to introduce something. I don't know what that is and what that looks like. I'm just trying to figure it out in my head. Like, what piece will he be introducing that makes everybody go, okay, wait a minute, this is very disturbing, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just going through it right now in my head. One thing would be, obviously, if any election officials or particular people are actually working with foreign entities to manipulate certain things, you know what I mean? So, I mean, that could be easily shown with stuff. So you never know, like, what powers that be were working with people overseas to basically do Trump dirty in that way, you know?
Hey, guys, I want to say this, man. I want to tell y'all, voting don't change nothing. So, don't vote. It depends on Israel. They will bring wherever they want. That's it. You gotta know that.
So we depend on whatever Israel does? Is that your claim, Malcolm?
Yes. So if Israel wants you to come up, they will bring you up. And if you stop listening to them, they will fuck you up. Like, what's his name? Biden's son, Hunter. They fucked him over to make Biden look bad so Trump can gain more supporters, you feel me? And if Trump right now fucks around and not listen to Israel, that's what's gonna happen to him. If you know, what's his name? John Kennedy? What happened to him? He got killed because he did not want to listen. I gotta wake up, man.
That was strange.
Sorry to hear that.
Uh-huh.
Ann, are you there? Paging Ann Hero.
Oh, Ann's here? I'm definitely out. See you later.
She stole the election. Make America, what's going on?
Right? I came up because I thought, homeboy, the last guy that spoke, was talking about some Jewish shit, so I thought it was fine, always, always get happy when the Jewish shit come up.
Jewish shit. Man, you taking Malcolm what he's saying serious? That was some old blabber. Like, I've heard better arguments when it comes to Israel from people that's more informed, but that shit was just some babble.
Man, Sean, you a puppet, bro. You were begging white people the whole time, please stop being racist. Oh, y'all do this to us, y'all do...
I ain't never said that.
Thank you, Fergie. Thank you.
Man, I ain't never said no shit like
I
that.
have some breaking news, Matt. Breaking news. As an hour ago, rumors coming in from Nick Sorter. President Trump will announce that both of Georgia's Democrat U.S. senators are illegitimate due to election fraud, per the D.C. Reporter. This comes after FBI and other federal agencies raided election offices in Georgia recently.
So Trump's just going to declare it rather than, is he going to file any sort of lawsuit, or... And, if he does just declare it, do you guys just believe it because he said?
Just sit back and watch.
So Warnock is illegitimate, is what he's saying?
Ossoff and Warnock, both of them.
Wow, that's huge.
I can say that them winning was a huge surprise to a lot of Georgians.
Wow, Joe, it just keeps getting sweeter and sweeter, doesn't it? It does. Yeah.
Each hour goes by, another little drip of what to expect come Thursday.
Well, supposedly, Trump and the UAE has announced a new trading route when it comes straight to Hormuz. So it looked like they're about to build out construction on another secondary route when it comes to straight to Hormuz.
We need a bullet train over there, whatever, bullet transportation thing. Elon needs to get on that.
So who did they beat? They beat Walker, Herschel Walker, and was it Kelly Loeffler? Was that who was? I can't remember. Yeah, but I know Herschel Walker, right?
It was Herschel Walker, yeah.
I'm not going to get my hopes up on this because I feel like it's probably going to be a letdown. But Nick Sorter, is he pretty reliable? I see him all the time on Twitter. I don't know.
Sometimes, he does a lot of stuff where he goes out into the street with some of the Antifa protests and things like that. But yeah, I mean, he's reporting that the DC reporter is. So, Washington reporter from the Hill, DC reporter. You want me to get the tweet?
Sure.
Yeah, a lot of these people, all these influencers and stuff like that, they read the source and then they tweet it out to their audience. So you always got to kind of go back. Yeah, that's why I was like, MS Now is the one reporting this, and some of the chatter on Twitter is that it's like, look, you can already see the mainstream media is making moves. CNBC has already come out announcing this. They're getting ahead of this to try and control some of the narrative of how their audience will interpret the.
Okay, Joe.
Let's say that it's real though. What would happen? Like, is this? I can't think of anything in the past. Like, what would be the result?
Well, this is the thing. You're talking about if y'all still on the topic about the illegitimate stuff in Georgia. What do you think? Y'all gotta ask. What do you think the Supreme Court or the courts are gonna decide? Because that's what it's ultimately gonna come down to. They're gonna. It's gonna go up to the courts. The court's gonna be like, whatever Trump did, let's do opposite. That's been kind of the back and forth. So am I wrong? Am I off with that?
You're 100% right.
You said what?
You're 100% right. Whatever Trump do, they do the exact opposite.
Yeah, I'm thinking it's down to that I'd like to hear somebody more knowledgeable on the courts. The court system, either shut me down or back me.
Okay, so some background on this. are y'all familiar that Fulton County had information in regards to their election? They were keeping their ballots locked up and were not handing them over for quite a while. And then there's a raid, this is a couple months ago, by the FBI, and they went and they took the documents. Y'all remember? So that what it's starting to appear is that they're going to announce kind of the things that they have discovered. Now, I can't tell you, Blake, how is it going to shake out? Will there be criminal charges filed against people involved with this? There should be. What are they going to do about it? I don't know. Look, I mean, a lot of politics is narrative controlling, grandstanding, and then advancing legislation. I think, if anything, we're definitely going to see, pretty easy to tell, that this speech will then lead to trying to leverage the Senate to have the courage to pass the Save America Act. Now, how they do that is tricky, and we'll have to see how it plays out. But this definitely is a move by Trump and some of his administration folks that are going to join them at this announcement. At least that's what's being reported. It could be completely different. Trump has head faked us in the past too, right? We thought he was going to announce the war on Iran or make some mention of it during the State of the Union. He said nothing, and then he bombs Iran the next week. So, look, it's hard to tell. Up in the Jumbotron here, the Washington Reporter. President Trump is planning to announce that Georgia's two senators, John Ossoff and Raphael Warnock, are illegitimate because of fraud. A well-placed source in Georgia tells us announcement could come as soon as tonight.
What?
Tonight?
By who, though? For tonight? This is getting wild, Joe. I think we're seeing some big moves here. We're seeing some big moves. That's tonight, huh? This is up in the Jumbotron? This, that you're reporting this?
That tweet is it. Look, it's hot on Twitter right now about this coming announcement of election interference.
Well, this is the one I banked a lot on. So, if it doesn't go through, we're gonna have to fight it out a different way. But I put a lot on this particular piece. I do think, like Joe said, we can keep hammering the other side on this issue. It polls favorably because a lot of people believe that there's some shenanigans going on with elections. So I think we can use this as a sledgehammer and keep sledging away. But hopefully Trump shows up and hits it out of the ballpark. We'll see, but it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, it polls favorably when we tend to point out the flaws in the election system. The more that we go after California's, I mean, at best, election system that just gets the job done, but they have to be careful. They could be setting themselves up kind of like the Russia collusion narrative, right? The more that they hit it, that
What y'all doing for dinner, man? What's everybody eating for dinner? Everybody cooking?
Or like what? 6:30.
I'm gonna
We
have.
got Mr. Viking and Angela. Wait, how do you know she's drunk?
I'm gonna have.
Because she sounds like she's drunk too much Guinness. Ah, I hear you.
Tonight for dinner, I'm gonna have what I have every night: weenie tots.
But I realize, I'm so sorry, guys. I don't like. I'm trying to figure out American historically. So what I understood American, your forefathers are biased. They're all British, well, English. And then I'm like, okay, what's going on in America? In American politics ideology, majority, in my country, because when minority vote for a president, majority don't vote. So that tells you stop telling other countries to be like, hello, ladies and gentlemen, you have to be Democrat.
I can hear the drunk now, guys. I hear it.
Okay, it's
I
fine.
Yeah, but here's the thing, though. Don't act like you fat ass. You don't act like you fat ass Americans don't fucking like shit. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, we know Americans is fucked up.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I mean, honestly, I don't know. Maybe people say they're really drunk.
What's going on, alright?
What up, son?
Like I said, Shar, me and Shar never see eye to eye, but at least Shar is a worthy adversary. Dude, we just
not a worthy adversary.
May I say something? The Democrat and Republican ideology started when
Pedro, annoying ass.
Pedro is fucking dumb.
He's annoying ass.
I just be saying shit to be pissing people off, but Pedro really believe his shit.
No, really. It is fucking wrong as shit. You know who else is wrong? Alan. He's wrong about everything he talks about, man.
That's right. I everything wrong. Char, you're right. I admit it. You found me out. I'm a complete sham, and I don't know how I'm going to be myself the rest of my days. But thank you for making me realize the true
no country for old white men.
And
no country for old men.
And I am not above being corrected by a black man, so I will now sit down and
Alan, will you play that Doodah song for us?
It's so funny, Beaver. I love that too.
In a minute.
Thank you, Alan. Thank you.
I never got to hear it. I really want to hear it.
Yeah, I was so funny, Beaver. I was just thinking that.
Uptown Lady, sing that song.
Yeah, give me a minute.
What's wrong with being told by a black man?
Absolutely nothing.
But at least Alan does it in the most succinct way possible.
Okay, wait, you gotta turn on the light. Okay.
Come on, Mike.
Here we go. You ready? Trannies, here they come. Doodah, doodah. Cut their dicks off just for fun. Oh, doodah day. Trannies on the street. Doodah, doodah. Argue with them, you'll get beat. Oh, doodah day. Telling everyone the pronouns they should use. Now they brainwash kids in school that kids are trannies too.
Wake it the fuck up.
What?
Start a TikTok channel.
You should get you a little hat figured at the subway. See how that goes on.
Yeah, as long as the hat has one of those spinner things on top.
No, I'm talking about the hat for the change. Like, put this hat over and collect some change.
Yeah, I see him on like a bow tie and the spinner hat. Maybe a hurdy-gurdy with the monkey. Oh, shoot. Blake. What's up, Blake?
What's happening?
Hey. Well,
now.
What up, Holly? What up, shit, Joe Hero Gun? What's good, psychopath?
I see you've come to pick a fight with everyone. You're like the Carmelo Anthony of the Trump Club.
Oh, hold on, wait. Which Carmelo Anthony are we talking about now? Be careful.
Exactly.
Which Carmelo are we talking about? Be careful.
Oh my God, we just trying to vibe, man. What we doing, bro?
All the fuckers that had that shit.
I don't want no charged up shit.
But the other guy that puts motherfuckers in caskets. Which one are you talking about?
You talking about Nick Carmelo Anthony? Be careful.
Because honestly, both. Listen. I do both. See what I'm saying? I do both. I bust motherfucker right in the face. Right?
Pause.
And, no, yeah, you know what that is, a pause. You know, that's second, that shit ain't. But, yeah, shit, man. You know, shit, I make motherfuckers look stupid on the court. Haven't done it in a couple of years because basketball is some shit now.
You ain't got no ankle insurance.
Also, too, I got a beautiful sharp knives. You dig what I'm saying? That are 5 inches. I got a katana. I got me a nice little tomahawk. Got a nice little ramble knife. Which one you want?
Oh shit! What style you train? I'm being serious. I'm being serious. Like martial arts?
No.
Oh.
Well, the style of weapon I train is Bato Jitsu and Shikari.
It's called Ninja.
You know how to use nunchucks?
No, not nunchucks. I only know how to use knives.
Nunchucks are pretty deadly.
Now you know the Filipino martial art with the little boxing swords, man. I want to train in that shit. But oh shit, Jazz is here. What's up, Jazz?
Is this your attempt to, Char, is this your attempt to tell me, touch you and see what happens?
Touch me and I'll throw you off the bridge.
What's up, Jerry?
Hi.
But you see, Shark can actually fight, so you don't need a knife. Shark can actually fight, so you don't even need a knife.
Oh yeah, I can.
That's why Pedro was taunting you and shit. I'm like, you can punch this motherfucker lights out.
No. But Shai, here's my thing though, right? They tried to sit up here and act like I was Jack Jenkins off of fucking Harlem Nights or some shit, like I'm stuttering and mumbling and stumbling and shit.
Nah.
As if every boxer has a fucking speech impediment or some shit. That's only for stupid, retarded niggas like Floyd Mayweather who can't read for shit.
Damn, that's fucked up, bro.
Some of y'all do have like a brain twitch, man.
Oh no, it is fuck Floyd, but I just feel like the insult was a little harsh.
Man, fuck that bitch ass nigga. He's a goddamn coon, crack baby Sambo.
Can you fight Floyd Mayweather? Who would win? Floyd's or your martial
listen, I'm 200 plus. First and foremost, I'm 200 plus pounds. I'm a cruiserweight. You dig what I'm saying? So matching up is not a good thing. Now it's either pretty much better boxer than I am. Don't get it twisted, but I do train in that style of that old school, style that he has. But if you're talking about straight up fighting, like all skills, like
like a hitter, right? Boom, boom, boom.
I fucking kicked that motherfucker's leg until he came off. Bro, I'll just fucking judo throw his ass in the concrete.
Hello?
And put my fucking knee on his goddamn rib cage.
He's like the black version of Brad.
Jazzy, what do you think of that song?
That song was crazy. Was that Alan?
It sure was. He just played it live.
Wow. I wanted to say, Shar sounds like the black version of Brad right now. It was pretty scary. All the violent things he would do.
He mentioned it, Brad. Brad
I don't
versus
say
What's going on, Jazz? I never heard you in a minute. What's going on,
I don't
Jazz?
say shit nothing that Brad says. What you talking about?
I guess
Brad talks about putting rocks on somebody and shit. I just like to rip somebody's face off.
What the?
That
sounds like murder.
He just went after Florida, Jazzy, big time. They were fighting it out. I heard things I didn't want to hear. No, Florida versus Brad. And I heard some allegations within the violence that were pretty disturbing.
What were they arguing about?
I just heard snorting coke off of somebody's pussy.
Yeah.
Drenching Travis Lake.
Florida might have done that. We don't know. We don't know.
In the typical insults that I'll tear your spine out and bury you in the backyard and fuck you in the ass. You know.
No, it was at Travis Lake.
Beautiful. So, what are you guys talking about here today?
To reset the room for Dr. Jazzy, we are talking about that there's been a big event that in either tonight or the coming days, it was on Truth Social, that at least Thursday, 9 p.m., Trump's going to make a huge announcement. We have left-wing media outlets saying that it has something to do with foreign interference with the elections. We have right-wing media reporting that it has everything to do with the recent FBI raids in Georgia and the data that they recovered, that the elections in Georgia during 2020 were illegitimate and fraudulent, and potentially puts into question Senator Ossoff and Senator Warnock's elections.
Is there any mentioning of impeachment with that? I'm sorry, I'm not the most politically inclined. I'm just asking.
Impeachment from who?
For
who? Trump. I mean, how could that be when it was election fraud? Does that make sense?
It probably doesn't. I'm probably having a slow moment.
That's some Trump derangement shit that even made no sense.
Is Trump gonna impeach himself?
I'm saying that I'm oblivious to a lot of this shit, so it probably was a valid, stupid question.
Man, what's the three branches of government?
Oh, don't do that. Don't do that. I should know those.
But you have the Maria, the Santa
That's what I gotta start asking.
Come on, bro. Don't do
a lot of y'all, I just gotta stop asking y'all. I ain't gonna cuss you out, bro.
No, I answered it though. Did I not just now?
What's the three branch of government from you?
Judicial, executive, and executive.
So wait, one second. If he's gonna make an announcement about election fraud, it would be the election that he lost. So they wouldn't impeach him for that, right? Because he lost that election.
Oh, my bad. See,
no, it's about the election of the two senators from that state.
Yeah, never mind me.
Okay, wait. This is good. This is about when Mike Pence knew that there was an issue with the electorate, and they tried to challenge it, and he put it through anyway, and then January 6th happened, right? That's what, is that what you guys are talking about?
No.
Yeah. You said, that was the senator.
No,
That
it's
was
about
the senator's issue.
No, according to what MS Now, or what Joe's saying, he's heard on MS Now, is that it's about the two senators from Georgia were elected fraudulently. They're illegitimate elected. And so they're going to provide some sort of evidence. It's not, now Trump may throw in some of his own election fraud stuff, say the whole state was fraudulent. We don't know. But what Joe is reporting from
two senators' election.
Yes, the two senators from Georgia are both illegitimate and therefore need to be recalled.
My bad, because when he said election fraud, I thought automatically presidential election.
We're getting conflicting reports. So look, I'll say once more, we're getting conflicting reports. MS Now, CNBC, these left-wing outlets are reporting that it's going to be about foreign interference in the 2020 election. We have right-wing independent outlets that are reporting it has something to do with the fraud fraudulent elections in Georgia with the
So I
runoffs.
did hear correctly. I was talking about, okay, all right.
We're getting two different narratives right now.
Joe, I think it would take, I'm reading it would take 2/3 Senate to like actually unseat the 2 senators. If it were, like if that's actually true, that they are illegitimate. So I doubt that anything would happen with this anyways.
I'm more concerned about the 2020 election fraud.
This is about the 2020 election. Yeah, I wouldn't get my hopes up that you would be able to get the Senate to impeach them.
But it's still great. I mean, it's just the fact that it's out there though, and the public can see it. That's what's important.
Hey, I'm gonna ask you a quick question. And I'm asking like on a serious note. When you guys talk about politics and stuff like that, do you guys intertwine any type? And there's no right or wrong answer, but I'm just curious to know if you guys intertwine any what's known as conspiracy theory with what you guys share.
A conspiracy theory is something that you slap on something that you think is unbelievable, right?
Okay, well, but that's your opinion right there. That is.
No, it's not. It's a fact because the word. Never mind.
No, that's literally an opinion that I'm willing to hear, but you can't say it's a fact, my love.
Hey, look, Pablo, if he asks the question, let Dr. Jazzy respond.
I got you.
If you'd like to finish, Dr.
Yeah, so nothing anyone said here points to any conspiracy theories, right? You're bringing up something that has nothing to do with what we talked about. So, I mean, if you want to elaborate on why you asked that question, then maybe I can answer it properly.
I appreciate you. That's funny. I wasn't pointing towards what you just stated. I was asking transparently, genuinely for my knowledge so I can gauge what questions that I should or shouldn't ask in this room. That's why I asked that. So I'll reword the question. Does anybody here resonate with conspiracy theory and that mixes with their ideologies with politics? Does that make sense what I'm asking?
It's just a bad question.
Yeah, it's horrible, and it's for the whole room, so I'm gonna be quiet.
Okay.
Ask your most outrageous questions. Come on.
To respond to it.
Give us your best conspiracy theories. Don't hold back. Come on.
Because Pavlo, I want to tell you the answer is yes for some of the people in the room, but the way you framed it is bad, so I can't.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I forgive me, y'all. I could admit to me forming the question in a weird way. That was my intention. Wasn't to be weird about it. I'm just I'm a little hesitant because I don't know if somebody's getting ready to kick me out the room because I'm bringing up conspiracy theory.
Just stick around long enough and you'll hear it for yourself.
Yeah, nobody's gonna kick you out of the room. Come on, back. Give us your best shot.
Pablo, maybe you should listen and observe and not talk as much at first when you enter into a room you're not familiar with.
I appreciate that, Joe. I'm being very honest.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Joe.
I tend to be a goofy person, so I was being a little bit more facetious earlier on, I'll be honest, but now I'm starting to see, realize, like, hey, let me be a little bit more serious in my lines of questioning with the conversation instead of just being goofy. That's conspiracy theory, you
Well, just wait until fucking Peter and Riri come in the room, then you can be goofy.
What questions do you have for us, Pablo?
Well, I more so was just curious to know if there are any conspiracy theories in anyone's brains, if there are any, and if they coincide with what we're talking about with Trump or politics or anything that they talk about for the future, Agenda 2030, what have you, New World Order. I don't know. I'm just asking I'm just asking.
Kind of an open-ended question. It's like, hey, can you give me an answer of how you're going to talk now and in the future and for years to come?
I think he's trying to insult us, though, and that's what I wanted him to get at.
Ain't nobody.
Yeah, I think.
Oh my God.
Well, hold on. Let me explain. I don't care that you are, but I feel like you're. Okay, I'm gonna be done. It's alright.
Yeah, because where do you get off that I'm trying to insult anyway?
Well, I could explain to you if you would allow me to speak, but if not, you got it.
I know I got it because I'm not trying to insult anyone here. I don't know what you're perceiving from that, but that's for you. I don't have the time to argue about it. Like I said, first of all, I just admitted to being goofy and trolling. I don't know how you would get insults from that. I could see how I could potentially offend somebody by being goofy, but
I didn't say I was offended. I could explain to you why I think.
It's not about you, love. I'm not speaking to you or about you.
Well, I
was.
I was speaking to you.
Okay,
and I was trying to
telling
say
you that what I'm saying is not about you. You're making it about you.
I'm not making it about me. I said us. Us is more than me.
I'm not insulting you or anyone. Try again or try harder. I don't know.
Okay, I could tell you why I feel that way.
I don't care.
I'm going to.
I actually don't care because I'm not.
I'm gonna ask.
You might be the first person.
Now, I'm gonna ask the moderator if I can finish speaking.
Yeah, I'd like to go after Jazzy.
Try to, love.
One mic on Jazzy, then we'll go to Alan. Go ahead.
Thank you. I think it was an insult because he doesn't, first of all, he don't like Trump. Like, I could just tell. And then we're talking about Trump in a not negative way. So now we're conspiracy theorists. And if he tries to deny that, he's full of shit. That's exactly where he was going with it. We're not being negative enough about Trump, right? So are you guys crazy or retarded or what? Like, how much of this is conspiracy? Like, we haven't even gotten into anything yet. But I just know people like you. I could tell.
I'm gonna ask you a real question. A real question.
I'm not gonna answer
Are
it.
you willing to apologize if you're wrong? If you're wrong, are you willing to apologize, doctor?
Hold on. You know what you got called out on is a false start. Like you got like a little bit ahead of the conversation and already started to go into your shtick to try and like troll us. And
you can thank your resident Tard for that. Thank you, Florida.
Jazzy's calling you out, and so look, we're going to go to Alan. Alan wanted to speak.
Yeah, you just said I'm trying to be honest here a few times too many, and it's like me going into, I don't know, politically correct and saying, gee, I know I'm goofy here, and I want to ask honestly, is it true that black people like watermelon a lot? It doesn't matter how you put it, we understand it's an insult.
What exactly was the insult?
Yeah, do you guys believe in conspiracy theories? How about you?
How is that an insult when I'm asking transparently?
How about you just hang out in the room for a while, listen to people like a normal person?
That's what I've been doing.
And then, yes, well, I don't think you've hung out long enough if you're asking a goofy question like that.
Okay, well, thank you for your opinion, sir. What you want me to do, be mad at you? Thank you for
What are the three branches of government? Let's see if you got it.
Oh my God, bruh. Jesus, it's the legislative, executive, and judicial. Now,
nice. Yeah, the only one getting upset here.
Anyway, try harder, buddy. Try harder. I'm gonna correct Doctor real quick, right? I'm gonna correct Doctor.
You can't correct me on my feelings.
Okay, but you're defensive.
It's a feeling, and it doesn't have to be true. It's the way I feel.
Be defensive.
You're the one that's I'm being defensive more than you.
I know. Be defensive. So the first thing you said was, I just know he doesn't like Trump. I just know he doesn't like Trump. One thing that I know for sure, nobody can say that I've mentioned in this room since I've been in here, because people tend to get silent when they start mentioning certain things.
Prove me wrong.
I know. I'm trying to, but you're hyped.
I'm doing what you did to me.
That's fine.
Remember when I tried to talk and you kept fucking biting my ankles?
Sure.
Remember?
Sure.
So prove me wrong.
I'm trying to, but you're hyped. So
I'm doing what you did. Now it's called being hyped.
I know. And what you
so what were you when you were doing it?
No. I'm about to silence you right now. What you can't
do.
Oh,
you are? I'm going to silence myself. I'm going to go on mute.
What you can't do ever in a day in your sad ass life is listen to Trump and do what I did on the charge with Silva. Goofball. Yeah, I'm a day trader.
I don't even know what he's talking about.
Trump can say anything right now. Trump can say anything right now that'll affect the chart. I could give you the algorithm right now for you to catch a bag tomorrow, because I like Trump enough for him to say something that's going to inject volatility into the charts. You don't know shit about that. 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 You can work out right now, man.
This is Cosby 2.0.
This is black on black violence.
No, it's just Cosby 2.0.
Now y'all bring him back up. Let him go. This is good. Let him go.
I can't. It's just, if you want it, Jesse, okay.
Yeah, bring him back. Come on.
He's crying.
He said we scared. You scared now, but bring him back.
I'm not scared. He's talking about his fake rich shit life that he has some secret algorithm bullshit.
And this is what typically happens when somebody starts talking real shit. This is what typically happens. I don't want to do this in y'all's face, but I'm being attacked and challenged, right? So she said I don't like Trump. And I'm giving real valid reasons for why I want to listen to Trump respectfully. And again,
Okay.
but why are you so defensive, love? I'm not trying to fight.
I'm not debating. I said okay.
Okay, cool. I'm cool.
Hold on. Let's cool it down just for a second. Pavlo, why are you talking like that aggressive with a woman? And it's really beta to argue with a woman like that in front of
Hey, bro,
everybody.
I'm gonna lower my tone.
The other dudes, that's
I'm
also
gonna lower my tone because I'm actually a cool, calm, and collected person. However, okay. Let me change my words. Because it's obvious that some of y'all can read my energy, and I can appreciate that. I can be a cool, calm, and collected person. Can I be a drag out? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, are we live? Podcast? Are we driving?
You're live.
We're live. Okay, then we're podcasting. Your YouTube channel's great.
My YouTube channel is taking off. We're at over 5,000 subscribers.
I'm glad that you're back after all this cancellation.
Yeah, I got 2 new Instagram accounts verified. It's unfortunate. I wonder if Pat Gibbons was one of the people responsible for getting John Kitover on Instagram deleted. I wonder if he complained because my video of him with Ramona was up there. So I wonder if he's responsible for getting the Instagram account deleted.
Well, you wonder, but for the podcast listeners who aren't as well informed, can you catch them up to speed on what exactly what the responses have been from Pat, who's someone who's running for office, and his fiance who's an elected official? You posted some videos that you broke as a journalist. So I'm wondering what's happening so far.
Well, I got a call today from a well-known political lawyer, as you know, Perry, and he kindly asked me if I could delete these 2 videos, and he sent me the links, and there was no threats of lawsuits, and he told me a nice story about how he got somebody into office by filing a motion to dismiss at one of the trials. And that was it. And I said, "You're just doing what a friend would do, right?" And he said, "Exactly." I said, "Okay, well, send me the link."
Was he acting in the capacity because Pat Gibbons, the candidate for the police accountability board, he said that this person was his campaign manager and also his lawyer.
Yeah.
Did he represent himself as a friend or the lawyer? Because those are 2 different distinctions.
He said friend, and he said he was filing his petitions.